Hey folks, welcome to chapter 22. So in chapter 22, we're going to dive into bacteria and archaea. So bacteria, you kind of know what they are. Archaea are like old school bacteria, not really. That might make some bio teachers mad, but whatever. There are other microorganisms that are older than bacteria. So we're going to talk about both of them in these sections. There are 5 sections in this chapter. In the first section, we're going to talk about prokaryotic diversity. If you don't know, you'll learn what a prokaryote versus a eukaryote is. And then you'll also be able to describe the evolutionary history of prokaryotes and describe why it's hard for us to rear them in the lab, and look at some of the cooler ones like the extremophiles. Those are the ones that like really hot or really oxygen poor environments, that sort of thing. In section 2, we're going to talk about the structure of prokaryotes. So what physical structures do they have in common? What differences are there in structure between archaea and bacteria? In the third section, we're going to talk about metabolism, which is, how they get their nutrients, how they grow, reproduce, and survive. We're going to talk about also their roles in the carbon and nitrogen cycles, which are important for a broader understanding of ecology. In the fourth section, we're going to talk about diseases in humans and the ways that we target those diseases. We're going to talk about biofilms and foodborne diseases, how overuse of antibiotics might be creating the next superbug, all those sort of wonderful things about the world that we live in. And then the final section, we're going to talk about beneficial prokaryotes. So talking about things like nitrogen fixation, which we'll talk about more in plants too. The beneficial effects of the bacteria that colonize our skin and our stomach, like probiotics. Looking at prokaryotes that we use during processing food, and also in bioremediation, which is removing pollutants from the environment. So I hope you enjoy this chapter. I hope you learn something. Again, just kind of capture the big themes in your notes, understand the differences between bacteria and archaea. You only have a couple questions about this chapter on the test. So yeah, have fun, and I'll see you in chapter 23.